guys, we are back. Welcome to another episode of More Than a Title. This is season 2, episode 14. I'm your host as usual, Jared Thomas, and we got a crazy little episode lined up for you guys, man. So before we begin, I just want to say thank you again to everybody who's supporting, man. We're growing week over week. I really appreciate all the love, the comments, the likes, the shares. Like, I really appreciate all you guys. So, more news to come on that stuff. And also, man, just shout out to everybody. Happy holidays. Shout out to all the parents, man. Shout out to everybody who's unemployed right now. Shout out to everybody who's searching for jobs. Everybody, man, this episode is dedicated to y'all, man, because we making it happen. Families, everything. We're about to have Christmas, man. We're still blessed, even if it's a tough year. 2023 is going to be the bounce back year for everyone, y'all. You know what I mean? We're going to get it. So before we get into it, man, let's get into this brother, man. We have a special guest lined up, man. I met this brother at the Art of Storytelling. Shout out to Ken. Shout out to Emmanuel. And I heard his story, man, and I just knew I had to have him on the show. So, this brother's raised, San Francisco raised, New York City born, spent the bulk of his career in Europe, logging 5 years in Paris, 3 years in Amsterdam, where he led the global lead on adidas and Gatorade. He also has a gambit of clients from cities from, Ultraboosts, leading global campaigns and recently winning accounts like the Las Vegas Tourism and IHG and Kraken Rum. He's also ADWEEK Creative Top 100, won prestigious awards like the Cannes Lions, D&AD, One Show, Clio's, Trophes Marketing, and Gran Prix Strategies. Andre is also the digital author of Digital Anthropomorphism, Humanizing the Brand, a Master of Arts in Global Communications, an advocate for underrepresented voices, through works like Black Madison Avenue that he did with, shout out to Walt. But let's, introduce this good brother, man, Andre Gray, man. How are you, bro?
I'm good. Thank you for having me. Yeah, blessed.
Yes, sir, man. You got a crazy story, man, crazy background, man. I'm honored to have you on the show, bro. Like I said, man, when I first heard your story on Art of Storytelling, man, I just wanted to have a real conversation with you, man. And this is all about you, man. I didn't want to, people who are first-time listeners, this show is not about the tips and tactics or none of that stuff. It's all about talking about the real stories, man. We've spoken to CEOs who've been, bootstrapped, sleeping in the car for 6 months, getting the idea off. Those are the things that I want to hear, man. I want to hear brothers overcoming obstacles, to see their, career ascend. What do you have to do, and how do we give that back to the younger generation? The next one's up. So if you want to, bro, let's start at the top, man. So you're New York City born, but San Francisco raised. Which one you repping, bro? You with me or you over there? What's good?
It must be two sides. It's never one or the other. You know what I mean? Like for me, I think I always try to show up as best I can as myself and be authentic. So, being in New York, and it's funny too. I talked to my pops the other day, and he was like, "Nah, you from New York?" And I'm like, "Yeah, bro, but like, I'm no SF." You know what I'm saying? Like growing up, I know New York as an adult. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, my childhood was in San Francisco, and I think that's important. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to be one of these cats. There's so many people that come to New York and try to be like, "Oh, I'm a New Yorker," and I'm like, "Okay, where are you from, though?" You know what I mean? So I would never fake the funk in that way. But New York is crazy, man. Like I said, born here, live here until I was, 4 or 5. Then moved out to San Francisco, which was a super formative experience. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think my parents, they set me up to be in an environment. The biggest difference that I see it is like San Francisco is a place where I could figure out who I was before the city asked me. And New York doesn't always give you that privilege. You know what I'm saying? Like, they go ask you who you are. And so, that's what my parents wanted for me. I think it was one of probably 3 super formative decisions that they made in my life. And, it's been a blessing. So I got hella love for San Francisco. I think a lot of people, talk about how the city's changing and all this kind of other stuff, but it's always been a great place. Like, everything's on top of each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, you'll be on one block, you'll be at Neiman Marcus, and the next block, it's not that. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so you just get exposed to a lot of different things. You get to be by the water, you get to, go hiking and all kinds of other stuff. So it's just like it gives you a wide range of exposures, so I always count that as a blessing.
That definitely a diverse culture, bro. I've never been to San Francisco. I want to go. I want to see the hills. I want to go in the damn trolley. I need to do all that.
You gotta tap in. I'll let you know where to really pull up at.
Yeah, man. Once we get this business popping, bro, I'm gonna have my pursuit of happiness moment right on the trolley. Yeah. You already know the vibes, bro. But tell us about your journey, bro. So like going into high school or like leaving high school, you going into your studies, bro. How did you lead into the industry, man? How did you get exposed to it?
Yeah, it's an interesting one because I actually, I love sports. I really believe sports is like the best microcosm for life. And so I was kind of on a path to say, you know, I'm gonna go, be a doctor. I'm gonna go work in sports medicine. I think, like a lot of, my pops is Guyanese, like a lot of first generation immigrants, you know what I'm saying? It's like
Shout out
doctor,
to Mama
lawyer.
Pop.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? So that was the vibe. And then after my freshman year, I just wanted to do something. I wanted to like have an impact on the world, and I didn't want to wait until I was 35. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, obviously being a doctor is an amazing thing, but there's
Yeah,
a lot of patience involved before you can kind of get in. And I felt like I had more to do and more to say, more quickly.
yeah,
So I started to look at kind of myself and my skills and what was out there. And for me, like advertising, it was kind of like two questions. It's like I believe wholeheartedly in the platform, right? Like
yeah,
brands are always going to want to sell things, right? So
for
the
sure.
better you understand that, you understand on the business side, right? You're always going to get a job because I could sell things, right?
Yeah,
And then on the other side, it's all about people at the end of the day, right? So it's like, okay, I could get with that. I could spend every day, studying people, trying to understand what makes them tick, trying to understand what value that they see, and all of that. So that all kind of, lined up and made sense. And I kind of set my sights on advertising. I mean, the honest truth of it is I wanted to work in advertising, but I wasn't really getting a lot of traction like when I graduated college, you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
And it was a struggle a bit, you know what I'm saying? Like you had to,
Facts.
I think you sit there at your house and you're doing this and doing that and freelancing and getting small gigs, but you're seeing other people that you're like this bum, like what I'm saying? Ain't no way, ain't no way. And
Facts.
I don't know if that energy ever left. You know what I'm saying? I'm still over here on the same time, like
That's
hey,
real though. I
bro,
love that you said that, bro. That's
bro,
mad real.
I'm like, bro, come on.
That's a fact, man. But that's what I love about y'all profession, bro. And I'm kind of mad that I didn't go into that because I'm a straight seller. Like how I got into it, bro, I snuck in the back door. Like I was doing reverse mortgages, I was doing barista, I was a waiter, bro. And then I ended up just going for a hospital call center gig. Dude heard me, and the next thing you know, I'm selling digital ads and banner ads and stuff. I'm like, all right, cool. But you know what I'm saying? Then I went into I worked at Con Lines, bro. I was one of their first American employees, so I was selling the archive. So I don't know if you're familiar with this. I was selling that product. I'm doing all that. I'm looking at all this stuff. I'm like, damn, this is what's winning.
Yeah.
So it was that mindset. It was like, yo, damn, this is the work that's winning. This is what people are being heralded for and put on a pedestal for. Yeah, I'm from the streets. I got ideas. I'm culture. You know what I mean? I would love to get on that side. Then kind of flipped and went into an agency and was a VP of business development, bro. But you guys have all of the things I love combined in one role. And that's what makes it so exciting, bro. You got the sales. You got every facet of marketing, whether it's experiential, whether it's programmatic, SEO, content. You got to know how all those things work together to provide the value for the client, bro. So, like, I love to talk about that, bro. Like, and where did you get your sales background from, too, bro? Like the being able to pitch, because that's a skill. And I think it's like singing. Is either you have it or you don't. Like, you can go through sales trainings, but we know the great ones when you see them. You know what I mean?
No, that's a fact. I mean, I think it comes from the Bay, man. Like, I sell an Eskimo ice at a high price and getting twice. Like, that's just how it's funny, man, because like, having spent, 8 years abroad, I've been kind of off the radar and coming back to the States. Like I've been back like 2 years now, you know what I mean? And reconnecting with folks and stuff like that. And I could just see across the board, like it's so many, like they say, players from the Himalayas, like it's so many people that have come from the Bay and they're wildly successful in these different areas. And they all have like a certain demeanor and a certain way of moving and a certain way of being able to market and package and impact people with what they say, you know what I'm saying? The gift of gab, as they say, you know what I'm saying? Like, and it's funny to see how many places in which that translates. Like, you got to be able to talk your shit, man. Like, otherwise it's gonna be a uphill. Like, I don't know. I mean, another version of the world that's not based on capitalism and it's not based on that kind of stuff. There's probably space for people. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm not saying it ain't space for everybody, right? There's space for every single type of person. I just think this system is just like it's built for the benefit of white heterosexual cisgender males. Is built for the benefit of people that know how to talk.
No, that's real, man. And I feel the same way, bro. I wanted to ask you too. We're gonna go deep onto the sales topic, bro, because I love that. But also, man, when I see you, man, I see myself, and that's why I really wanted to get you on the show, bro. Like, because when I heard your story, even just now when you was talking about your parents, bro, you got both parents in your life. Like me, I was probably the only brother in my whole entire crew that had mom and dad. And then on the outside looking in, you see how it affects, people in your crew differently, bro, and how blessed we actually are, bro. So I would love to just touch on that real quick, bro. Like, what kind of impact they had on your life, bro? And
yeah, definitely. I mean, my parents, like I said, they made kind of 3 pivotal decisions probably in my life. I think everything in life is about trying to figure out the context that makes sense for you. You know what I'm saying? And so I think when you're growing up, and a lot of what you learn about things, I think, until you get to, your 30s and a little bit older, like you get a one-to-one relationship. This is what a parent is. And then if your parent isn't that, then it's what a parent's supposed to be. And now you have a disconnect. I think as much as anything, like your parents are there to give you an example, but like any other example, part of it's what you should do and part of it's what you shouldn't, And so that's not to say that my parents, that's not a judgment of them. That's a judgment of any parent. That's a judgment of any sibling, any person, right? Especially in this kind of Judeo-Christian system, we want to live in a system where people are either angels or devils, right? We don't know. What do you do with the fact that Martin Luther King was doing what are you talking about that for? It ain't got nothing to do with the things that he was doing, right? Because we're not having to build gods. We don't have to build angels. You don't have to be 100% good and never do nothing bad. Like, that's not how it works. We're all people, and we're flawed in many ways. So, I think I benefited because my parents were together and then my parents were apart. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that like I benefited from them being apart, but I benefited from seeing them together, and that's a privilege, like you're saying, you know what I mean? And so even in the times where they were apart and I had to make a lot of parental decisions, growing up at a very young age, like I still knew kind of the nexus and kind of where it came from and what it looked like when 2 people were swimming in the same direction, so to speak. So it's a great blessing, you know what I'm saying? And I'm thankful to have both of them around, even if, like I said, they don't always, what are they going to tell me about being a CCO? You know what I'm saying? Like, not much. It's still something to learn. You know what I mean?
That's love, bro. That's love. And same thing with me, bro. Like with me growing up, bro, like I said, I was the only one out of all my crew. My spot was the hangout spot. Mom and pops looked at you. They was mom and pops for everybody in the block. You know what I'm saying? That's how it was, bro. Pops worked 2 jobs for 27 years, 9 in the morning to 12 at night, bro. Every day, bro, for 27 years, bro. To grind, put us through private school, get us in you know what I mean? And then when I made the choice to not follow the path of everybody else, bro, and snuck into sales, bro, I'm like, man, we got to do something that's not in vain. That's where I get my hard work and my work ethic and all that other stuff from, bro. And like I said, I snuck in the game. So, and you were dealing with the freelance opportunities, you were getting gigs, but it sounded like you wanted to be at a point, bro, where he's making impact. Like, I'm doing work. How am I? What does it really mean? Like, how do I really impact people? How do I motivate? How do I inspire people, bro? Especially people that look like me, bro. So how did those opportunities start to arise for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think especially like when you grow up and you start to have like an understanding of how this system works, you know what I mean? Like networking, right? Schmoozing, like you want to have something to offer. And I think it was very frustrating for me, like early in my career. I didn't have much to offer. Like I had my effort to offer, but I couldn't really, you want a connection, you want to meet this person, you want to do this. And I didn't have enough. So that's why I'm always so thankful in where I'm at now, because I could really help people. Like I not only have the connections, but I have the knowledge and the experience and the context to really help. And that's why I always do that. You know what I mean? Like I just started a foundation this year, Maison Foundation, which is a 501c3, which is all about kind of sharing advertising, branding, and marketing advice with underserved people and underprivileged communities. You know what I'm saying? So it's all kind of money where the mouth is, so to speak. But I think, the way shit shifted, it's kind of 2 things, man. It's like, I think you have to put yourself in the biggest small pond that you can, right? Because if you're not sought after, aka rare, relative to your pool, it's hard to get chosen, right? It's hard to be successful. You see what I'm saying? And so me being a native English copywriter in San Francisco or America, it's a lot of people that speak English. Me being a native English copywriter in Paris, very small pool, right? So it was key for me to understand that based on the feedback that I was getting, which is not literal feedback. It's just like if I'm applying to 1,000 jobs a day because I want to be full-time, but I'm freelancing and I'm not getting called back, okay, there's something that's not adding up here.
Yeah, I got to look at my approach. Yeah.
Let me change my situation, right? You know, I moved to France, you know, $500 in a one-way ticket, and you know, made it happen.
Yo, bro, first of all, where do you that's a ballsy move, bro. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you. So you just took a one-way flight to Paris. I've been there once. It's a beautiful city. Love Paris, bro. It's like the Hunger Games. I was in District 8 or something. I forgot what it was called. I forgot where I was, bro, but it's lit. But like, what made you want to go to Paris of all places?
Yeah, I mean, it's not completely out of context. Like, you know, I speak French. Like, I went to French school as a kid, so I understood the city. But I mean, I always say it that way because that's how real it was. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're not going to be willing to go all in and bet on yourself, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you have to. I don't know. Like, that's what I said. Like, I come from a sports background. Until you get to the last rep, until you get to the point in the workout where your body says you can't do this and you have to push past that, all the other reps are a setup for that rep. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And in many ways in life, it's the same thing. We have a gravity towards comfort that is a natural survival mechanism. But like, you know, you want to be exceptional, right? You want to make 1% of the money that's out in the market, let's say. Or you want to win an award. Only one person wins an award. That's by definition exceptional. So you have to do exceptional things. You can't just do average things. Everybody's going left. Then you got to go right in one way or another. Otherwise, you're not going to put yourself in a position to be deserving of exceptional compensation.
That's real as hell, y'all. That's we clipping that up because that was real as hell. Straight up. And shout out to Rob because that's my bro. He's from the Bay Area. He says shout out to you, bro. Sir. And shout out to Soli, man. He says the Bay like Harlem. I never been. I don't know. Harlem's unique.
Harlem's unique. They used to call it Fillmore the Harlem of the Bay. Harlem of the West Coast. Yeah. Because people don't know that. Like back in the 20s, 30s, 40s, Fillmore had a thriving jazz culture. Like, so when people would tap in, MLK included, and they came out to the West Coast, they would always go to the Fillmore. And it's been crazy, like what they've done to that whole area in that district. You know, gentrifying, white redlining, and all that kind of shit. But yeah, no, it's a lot of overlaps, man. It's a lot of sauce out there. You know what I mean? It's just kind of been spread out. You know what I mean? Like the same people that used to be in Fillmore that ended up in Oakland and Richmond, and now they out in Antioch and Stockton. But you know, the sauce is still there.
Yeah. And shout out to Soli, man. He said unique indeed. Yeah, Harlem different. You know what I wanted to say, but we're gonna keep it, you know what I mean? We're gonna keep it on that, but we know what Harlem is, baby. But like, yo, bro, before we ask you that and we shout out to the comments, what you said was so real, bro, as far as standing out and being the biggest fish in the smallest pond, bro. And like that's exactly what happened for me, bro. It's like betting on yourself. Like I was in a weird ass spot in my career, bro. I just came from a place I'm helping products go to market. I was a VP of sales. I was this, I was doing that. But I'm like, damn, I'm staying there for a year. I make a little money. Then I lose a little money. And then there's all this. And I'm like, yo, bro, I'm tired of this shit. I'm like, it's got to be a better way to do sales, bro. So what I started doing, bro, started the LinkedIn shit. I didn't know anything from anything. Just pulled out the phone and we just started working, bro. And then we ended up just generating revenue and getting it going, bro. To now, speaking of brothers like you, Walt, like we had Paxton on last week, bro. He's the founder of one of the founding partners of the Washington Nationals group, bro. Brother was raised in Compton, youngest at 8, bro. Said the story. Like, I'm like, damn, bro. And these are the stories I want to hear, bro. So, like, you know, I appreciate you for being on, bro. But that's so real. So anybody listening, you got to bet on yourself, especially in this industry as a Black professional. Like, y'all don't know how hard it is and how difficult it is to, one, beat a stereotype, to, one, outwork everybody, outpace everybody, show you something. And then sometimes we don't talk about it enough. You have to dim your light sometimes. And you have to pick and choose your spots. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I kind of stopped. I had to stop playing the game, bro. I didn't even hate that term. And I had a Madison. I don't know if you're cool with Madison, bro, but if you're not, like, I would love to introduce you to her. She's She's the bomb, bro. But we got to talk about playing the game, bro. And I'm curious, like, as you, bro, what does that mean to you?
Right.
Playing the game as a Black professional, bro. Like you know what we've always been told, but like, what from your perspective, bro?
I mean, it's all a game. You know what I mean? I think that calling it a game in and of itself is not a bad thing or a good thing. It's just a matter of understanding the rules and playing better than everyone else. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's always going to be that. There's always parameters. You know, I think that as Black people, what's really tricky is they try to tell us that one thing is the game when it's not. You know what I'm saying? So like, for instance, if anyone goes bankrupt, that's your fault because you shouldn't do that. Whatever the venture is that you were doing, right? Whether it's a restaurant, owning a house, whatever, start an LLC, have the LLC rent the restaurant property, right?
Yeah.
Now, if the restaurant goes under, the LLC folds, you go open another restaurant the next day because that's normal. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Don't put yourself out because that's not the right way to do this. But that's the way they tell us to do. You see what I'm saying? They tell us to bet the house. Don't bet the house. That's not the way this game is set up. So for me, it's not really about me trying to understand whether it's a game or not. It's about me trying to understand the rules.
And that's real too, bro. See, but me with the rules, bro, like, and it may be different because I'm in sales, right? Like sales is like you straight up, you have your quota, you hit your number, you don't. It's very, you know what I mean? It's very binary, you know what I mean? So like from that perspective, but even if there's a game inside the game, bro, how I dress, how you talk, the relationships you make within the place, right? You could be the top seller and nobody like you, and you could be on the chopping block. It's so many different ways and not be able to work cross-functional with teams and all that stuff. And even if you do all of that right, bro, as a Black professional, I'm telling you, as a dude that hits quota, bro, it is tough.
Oh, of course.
Tough.
You understand the game that you got into, right? Like sales is a tough game, right? It's hard to be consistently unique and exceptional in the sales game. I think, you know, the main thing though, what you talked about before, and in the foundation, we talk about two main things that we're solving for, right? One is context and one is support. Support is peer-to-peer nepotism. I know that my uncle is the CEO of this, that, and the third thing. I think the context part though is super important. I'm never going to go look, especially a young Black or brown person in the eye and tell them that they got to dress different, talk different, this, that, and the third.
Yeah.
But I want them to understand when they are zigging, when the people around them are zagging. So you can decide for yourself. I'm not saying that I show up as my real self in every single conversation.
Yeah.
Personally, that's not a choice that I like to make, and I don't think it's advantageous, but I want to win more than I feel like being worried about being comfortable. You see what I'm saying? So that's a different thing. But what we don't have when we're entering these environments is we don't have context, right? And I'll use an example. So I went up to Amherst College, my alma mater, a couple months ago in the alumni and residence program, and I talked to some students. And a young Cape Verdean Black dude from Boston came in, and he said, you know, he pulled me over aside after. He was like, "Man, as soon as you walked in, I saw your shoes, and I knew I dressed wrong." And I'm like, "Yeah, you look like you're going to a finance meeting. That's not how we dress in advertising." And he was like, "Damn, I should have wore the J's." And I was like, "Yeah, you should have." But again, he didn't have the context to understand, because how he dressed, if he was going to a JP Morgan exposure meeting, he should have dressed like that. If he's going to an advertising thing, you got to dress a little different. You know what I mean? And that's the context. That's what we're trying to solve for. Then everyone can make their own choices, right? You want to show up in a hat. You want to show up in a do-rag. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to wear a do-rag, but I'm not from that era. You know what I'm saying? That's not the house attire. You feel me? That's not me.
But the flip side to that, bro, I played the game, bro. Had the Oxford. Me and Walt talked about it too, bro. He said the same shit. He said you can see the wingtip shoes. You can see it on Instagram, and the shit popped off. And the same shit happened to me, bro. Soon I was like, yo, I'm tired of this shit. I'm going on like this because, you know what I mean, old boss said some real shit to me. He was like, yo, if they don't like you like this, chances are they weren't going to do business with you anyway, bro. So work on the people that's going to do business with you. And that's the one gem that stuck out to me, bro. The same thing like for rapping on, like 38 Special said this on an interview. Like he said, like, yo, who I rap for? My friends. I don't need to rap for everybody else. I know what these dudes do, and they love me. There's millions of people that's like them, bro, and a similar thing. So I was like, you know, started putting myself out there, and we did it. As soon as I started showing up like this, deals became easy, bro. I didn't even have to send emails out. It was just like, yo, I want to chill with you. I want to do this with you. Let's do this. Oh, let's build. And it's just love. It's genuine. You know, I'm not going to screw you over. I'm not going to do nothing crazy. If I can't do it, I'll tell you. You know what I'm saying?
Right. But
again,
like even with Walt, because I've heard him say that a lot of times, like your permissions change as the time change and your context change, right? I don't know if he could even say with confidence that he sees a departure in when he shifted towards dressing more authentically like himself. But if he rewinds 5 years before that, would changing the way you dress have had the same response? You know what I'm saying? Because the younger you are, you're in experience and trust deficit. So, you know, you could show up as yourself and you now departed yourself even further from the context of the environment you're in, right? It takes a while to get to the place where being more distinguished, it still doesn't derail you. It actually elevates you. You see what I'm saying? So I'm not going to tell everybody to show up day one and just be doing this and that, because by default, when you're in the early, 0 to 5 years of your career, you're very replaceable, and you have to start to understand that. Like, don't be playing with your money. It doesn't make sense.
That's real. And like you said, the experience, when the experience and the confidence to say, I know I can do my job and I'm that dude, that's when you can do it. You know what I'm saying? I've got the relationship, and that's real talk. So that you hit on the ill point, bro. And so like, so I'm curious too, like, I would love to go into the sales. It's a good segue into that, bro. So like, tell me about like well, how do you prepare for these pitches, bro? Or what is one pitch that stands out in your mind? Because I'm a seller, bro. I do all types of shit. I pump myself up. I do all types of crazy shit. What is your preparation like? As a matter of fact, before I even go into that, for those who are not, because I got cousins and aunties and them listening, you know what I mean? So Dre works at an agency, right? So for instance, if I'm working at an agency, I have a specific service. If I want to work with a Gatorade, they'll put out something called an RFP, which is a request for proposal, right? It'll say, hey, we want to do this, this, and the third. And we want these people to execute it at this timeline for this budget. And then a bunch of companies and agencies, they set out a bid for that request saying what they're going to do and ideas and so on and so forth. And what Dre is on these, he's on these pitches at some of the highest levels, like holding companies. So, right, holding companies is a big overseeing agency, and they have smaller agencies that specialize in certain principles of marketing, whether it be branding, agency, creative, SEO, whatever the case may be, and they make the conglomerate. So just to give the context to everybody else. So when you get these, right, and some of those like Gatorade and Adidas, those are like special RFPs. Not everybody's getting that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You got to know somebody to know somebody. They're not going to give it to Joe Schmo. I don't care how good.
Gotta be rare, of course. Yeah, I mean, I think one thing that I do, first of all, I mean, you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You gotta know your bag. So I think I worked hard against the skills that I needed to have. I think the number one enemy that I have in any day is time. And so I had to figure out, and this was like a conscious shift, maybe like the last 4 or 5 years, like, how can I come into a situation and I look at a minimum amount of information and give a maximum amount of feedback and direction that's going to inspire that person to take that away and apply that, and then, exponentially improve where they are, right? So I work against myself to make sure I can give feedback quickly and I can understand things quickly. That also helps because I'm good at thinking quickly, but I'm playing my own strengths, but I'm playing against the weaknesses that I have in the system. I think when it comes to pitches, like one thing that I do, there's like a TED talk about it, but like I do the starfish.
No, so, I've heard of that.
Yeah. So if you take up space, right, like literally 5 minutes before you get on a call, right, you just starfish, you take up as much space as possible. It literally releases the endorphins in your body to make you more confident. And the same opposite thing happens. So like if you're sitting in a interview, in a hallway waiting for an interview, and you have your legs crossed, your arms crossed, and you're coiling your body and making yourself small, it's like a fetal position. And that's actually going to diminish your confidence. It's going to make you feel less confident when you walk in. It's just like some psychosemantics. Yeah. So that is one thing that I do. But at the end of the day, man, like a pitch or like any other thing, you know what I'm saying? Like it's a live performance. The show must go on. If the slides are right, they're right. No one knows if they're right or wrong. You got to just do your thing, and you got to make sure you're compelling. Like my biggest thing I tell people is, how are other people going to believe you if you don't believe yourself?
Facts.
You got to be confident. Like everything I said to you today, you believe me because I sound like I mean what the fuck I just said.
Thanks.
You know what I mean? And that's a huge part of it, right? People come into it and they're, you sound like you don't know, bro.
Can I get your attention?
Right. Oh, no, right. You're all apologetic. Like, just come in and be like, hey, this is it. Buy this. If you don't like it, I was talking with so funny. I was talking with a friend of mine, another CCO yesterday, a Latin dude. He's like, I went into this pitch with this big candy bar brand, like huge, Fortune 500, whatever it is. We went and pitched the whole thing. We go, whatever. And then they're like, hey, but that's not the brief. That's not what we asked for. He's like, no, I know. We could do what you asked for. But this is round 2. Like, we already know this. We already going to do that. That's why I didn't even answer that. Man just pivoted the whole thing. And they were like, oh, okay, yeah, okay, chapter 2. Okay, cool. Yeah, all right. Like,
I love that.
No, you just got to.
Something closing right there. Like, I already know I got you. Why are we talking about this? But what happens when we do this?
I didn't want to answer your brief. I was going to answer something else. This is what you got to do, chapter 2. They were like, oh, okay. So, you have to have the confidence to sell it. I think it's, it's chicken and egg. You have to actually have the goods, at the end of the day. Like, you can't just keep saying you're the best basketball player. Like, at some point you're going to play against KD and you're going to get diced up. So, you gotta be confident, but you got to also know your game. You know what I mean? You got to do the work.
See, but that's why I love that, bro. Like, SaaS sales is completely different from that. And I love that, bro, because it's a blank canvas. And I would love to, I would love to go. I would love to see we all go on the RFP. Like, damn, that shit was fire, bro. You got that one. I'm pretty sure you. And everybody in the crew is like, yo, that shit was fire. You got that one, bro. So I know y'all up-leveling each other's game, bro. And I love that. But that's totally different than SaaS. And SaaS sales, or just sales in general, bro, you have to believe in what you're selling. And with you, bro, you're selling the idea and you're selling the execution, selling the vision, bro. And like, that's it much easier. It's like me selling myself. You know what I'm saying? That's easy. Right. I can sell myself all day. If I can't sell that, but selling a product that you're not, and I've been in situations where you're selling some shit and you're like, I don't really believe it. It comes across that way. It's like, this shit might work. It might not work. I just need my commission, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, all that type of shit, bro. So I love that. So what pitch from you, bro, stands out the most? Or what is the craziest thing that's happened on the pitch? Where whether you made a messed up, you had to pivot real quick, anything like that?
I mean, I never really been in a situation where it went super left, to be honest. But the one that stands out the most, I mean, we pitched the Las Vegas tourism business about 2 years ago at this point now. Which was super interesting. I mean, I was like a couple months into working at Gray, as an ECD, and Vegas is a place that's always been very fascinating to me because, one, my context to it is not as an adult. So most people go Vegas, gambling, blah, blah. Like, I was there when I was like 12, like playing AAU tournaments. So for me, it was always like a place where there's like basketball games and stuff like that. From there, we went and pitched the business, and it's a government pitch. So first of all, everyone's freaking out, right? Because they're like, you have to open a city council meeting in order to have the pitch process. And they're like, it's public, everyone could see. You got the mayor of the city of Las Vegas, bro. And I thought it was funny because I've seen a lot of those public meetings before, right? Like back in SF or down in LA, like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, my sister-in-law is PIO of the city of Santa Monica. So it's like, I know those meetings, which I found to be super funny, but it was memorable, man. Like, it was one of the best pitches that I ever been a part of. Like, it all lined up, the strategy, the creative, it was the first time I was pitching, with my boss and also my boss, the worldwide, CCO. And just, it was a moment where I did my thing, and then you could see it side by side. Because the thing that I really dislike about working is there's not the honesty of a game. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. If you want to tell me you're better than me at basketball, like, that's cool. We go to a court. Like, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like,
the best man win, right?
Right. You could sit here and say, oh, yeah, well, the Celtics should have won the championship. Nah, but you didn't, though.
That's it.
I caught the L. That's it.
That's it. But when you start deflating the basketball and doing
all this other,
and then start flexing like you did it on the, I hate that shit.
So that's the thing that I was like, wow, okay, these are people that, whether they're by my metrics or not, The industry says that they are some of the best. They have achieved some of the things. And we right here. You know what I'm saying? We right here. You know, it was a moment. So for me, that was super memorable. And you know, what was really funny or interesting about that is people would ask me after, like, oh, do you think you won? And that thought had actually never crossed my mind at all. Like, if I go out out to whatever and I do my very best and I know I gave every effort that I have, you know, the rest of it's out of context. That's in God's hands. That got nothing to do with me. You know what I'm saying? We win or lose. I mean, we did win because, you know, it's like that. But, you know, I wasn't worried about it at the time because I can't control that, you know, especially in a situation where it's a government account. There's lots of other things going on. There's politics, there's office politics, there's budget constraints, there's all kinds of things that have to do with why you might not be successful, but you got to be able to control everything. You control yourself and control your effort. And did you do everything that you could have done? And we did it all, and the rest is the rest.
No, that's real. And I'm curious, how long do you get to pitch in an account like that? You get 10 minutes, 15, like how long are those pitches?
Oh, no. So we did 3 rounds. It's like 2 hours every time.
2 hours
we
every time.
We had to fly to Vegas, yeah.
Oh, okay, like that's what I'm saying. I'm thinking like it's a round robin. There's like 5 of y'all. We're gonna give y'all 30 minutes.
Nah, it was crazy. That was the biggest pitch at the time. So it was like 44 agencies to start that did the RFP and just submitted information. It went down from there to I think 10 that did a virtual presentation, and there was a top 4 that did a in-person presentation. The in-person portion was like 2 hours each.
That's dope, bro.
Yeah,
and then, so you know what's something I always wanted to ask for your role, bro? I wanted to ask Walt, but how is success viewed in your role, right? Like, is it the amount of wins that you accumulate from an RFP? Is it the actual work that you do that's successful for an existing client? Like, how is that role? You know what I mean? How do you define that?
I mean, I think that's one of the trickiest things because success is very subjective. I think, you know, in this role, it's one of those things where I would define like, okay, to the quote that you had earlier, right? My friends like how I rap. Like, I would define success at the types of people that are excited about the work that I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? Which doesn't come very often because you don't have that opportunity. That's not saying the industry defines success by Cannes Lion Awards, D&ADs, pencils, Clios, you know, Andes, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
These are flawed systems. You know what I'm saying? Like, I always advocate for, especially the Black and brown people around me, to go win awards, not necessarily because you have to believe in them or not, but because they're institutionalized cultural capital. You go win a Cannes Lion Award, the price is going up.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's how this works. That's why you go get a degree, because the price is going up. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, but you're talking about what should be the metric for success, which is financial success, whether it's organic growth, as you're saying, with clients you already have, or whether it's new business growth. Those things are mostly measured as, you know, whether you get bonuses or not, but they don't really translate as much as to whether like you're considered to be a good creative leader or not. It's like, it's kind of, your measure of success is like, is the creative good? But that's all relative to the people around you. Because some people like some dookie, to be honest. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, so,
which goes back to, like you said, with the awards, right? Like, so when I was working at Con, the brands, we basically were saying, if you want a Con Lion Award as a brand or whatever, an agency, it's equivalent to $1 million in new revenue, just from the exposure that you would get. That was a stat back in like 2013, bro. So how did your career change when you actually got that stamp? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm ADWEEK top creative. I won a Con Lions. Like, how did your career change, and what opportunities presented itself as a result of it?
I mean,
like, was it like overnight? Like, soon as you won it, like it was like lit. Tomorrow.
I think that happens to people though. Like, for instance, you know what I'm saying? Like, I have a friend of mine who worked on a project, and then he got like number 2 best copywriter in Europe, like on the One Show Awards like list, you know, which is kind of like rivals rankings to a certain extent, which I'm like, that's funny. But then you start getting calls, you start getting, you know, you start getting job offers and things like that. For me, it didn't really happen overnight. I think a lot of the work I did with Adidas, like, everyone saw it, but no one knew I was doing it. So it was kind of like, you know, coming off the back of winning, getting the ADWEEK 100 and, being a judge, in the Cannes Lion Awards. I was on the outdoor jury last year, you know what I'm saying? Which as you know, very rare for a Black person.
Absolutely. Congrats too, bro.
I was really getting, I spoke with Simon Cook and he pulled me aside. He's the CEO of Cannes Lions, super good dude.
Yeah.
He pulled me aside and he was like, "How do I not know you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that's a good question." You know what I'm saying? Like, I think it just started to open doors for me in the conversation. And I'm thankful to be in a place now where it's like, I don't know if I'm making another resume at this point, And so I'm if you compare that with where we started the conversation, when I'm sending out 1,000 job, LinkedIn, job applications a month, I'm very far from that. So I'm very thankful for that. But it wasn't like an overnight thing. It just kind of happened. And then I realized, like, oh, okay, that's not really what they're judging me on now anymore,
Yeah, bro. And you know what? And it actually made me think of something when you said that. So like 2 weeks ago, bro, I had Mary Webb on the show. I don't know if you're familiar with her, but she's the creator of Flow from Progressive. So we were talking about you being in an agency, you come up with this great piece of work, right? Something like Flow, you do the RFP, it's 5-10 million, whatever the case may be. Now the campaign, what happened?
It's bigger than that.
Yeah, bro, way bigger than that, right? I'm just throwing a number, right? But in usually cases like 50, 100 if you're dealing with those top tier brands, right? But then it does 10x on the back end, right? Something like Flow from Progressive changed the outlook and impacted the bottom line in ways that are invaluable to that brand, right? But then you as a creator, you don't get it because what you sign is what you sign. This is the agreement. So like, how do you monetize additionally off your creative in your name, right? Do you think there's a way to be able to make that happen? Because that's kind of crazy, bro.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, it's there's always a pound of flesh. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's always an exchange. So I think in some situations, you want to think that your growth goes like this, but it really goes like in steps. And so I know, like, from certain situations that I've been in, like, I think you can only achieve one thing at a time. Sometimes I have to gain in cultural capital, and sometimes I have to gain in financial capital. And then usually it's not both at the same time. So, she might, there's people that have done stuff like Flow from Progressive. She'll probably get a job for the rest of her life just off of just the fact that she made that. So did she need to get the money at the time for that, or is all the money she makes for the rest of her career the pay for that? You know what I'm saying?
That's a hard question, bro. That's a tough question. Depends what is the number I could have got on the front end when I got it. If you got me a commission and I got like 10 M's off of performance of the first 4 quarters a day and you done exponentially grown.
But it's never, but again, like I said, right, back to the question of the game, is it about trying to understand if it's a game or not, or just understand the rules? There's no way that you're coming up with an idea as an agency or individual and getting and monetized off commission off of that idea. It's just not structurally how any of this shit works. So if you wanted to be like that, you could, but you'd have to make an agency. You'd have to make that agency successful enough that clients the size of Progressive would be willing to engage with you. And then you have to propose them a different financial modeling because they wouldn't have expected that. So there's a lot of change that would have to go into that.
Yeah.
The two things as next to each other.
Yeah.
And sometimes it happens, but it's a little bit more complicated than that, right?
It's a lot of moving pieces. No, I'm totally with you. It's hard to make that work. Like, so the agency she was working with, they won, right? They still a client to today. And that's the relationship, right? Like, you don't leave that client, everybody else wins. But I'm like, damn, if you have that idea, like, you can't just hit the mountaintop on that idea. You know what I'm saying? Like, other ways you can do it. But like you said, it's in the context of the game. But now she has her own agency. Now she has clients. I was asking her, like, shit, I know people come up to you, yo, can you make me a flow? And that's a price. That's a brand. That's a value, bro. So we had a really interesting conversation about that, bro. So I was just curious what you thought about that, man. And then, like, for you, bro, like, so what is right now, what is the one creative piece of work that you hang your hat on right now? Could you tell us the story about that, bro?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. I don't mean to like not answer the question, but I honestly I think it's a curse of being creative. Like, I can tell if someone else's work is good or bad, and I can tell if my work is like bad but once it gets past bad, like between good and great and memorable, I have a hard time judging, because when I look at it, I know too much about it, right? Like I always say this, like if you go ask Kobe about scoring 81 points, he'll probably be like, I missed 4 free throws.
Just a day, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like he'll understand like he could have done better that day. And that's not to say like you're being not humble or ungrateful. It's just to say like when you're in the process, like you understand like this should have been a little bit better, bro. Like it was some concessions, bro. Like it should have been.
It was a little mid. It was
right for what it could have been, you know. So I mean, there's definitely, you know, stuff that I've done. Like the thing I point to the most is, you know, we sent a shoe to space, you know, for Adidas to the International Space Station, which is like,
that's dope.
I'm not gonna sit here and say like I did that by myself, but like, you know, working hard to get the opportunity to be a part of a project like that, and like actually, you know, that goes back to like, you know, being a kid and like the Magic School Bus and like, you know what I'm saying, like
that's dope,
reading Rainbow type shit. You know what I'm saying, like Star Trek, like, you know what I mean, like it really, that really happened, and so that was crazy, and I felt like the visuals that we put, the concept, you know, Goodbye Gravity, the campaign, everything we did, all lived at that level that it was worthy of the moment. And so I was, you know, I'm always, you know, really excited about that. I think what's been crazy is I feel the momentum building right now, and so I'm just like, imagine what we could do, you know, and I'm so focused on that. Like we got to make some new shit.
Fact.
It's too old. Everything else that I've done is too old.
I'm not mad at you, bro. One thing I do say, I feel it's, bro, and who else to do it but us? Like as far as creativity in the space, you know what I'm saying? Like we are creative. It's in us. It's not on us. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's why, and that's what pisses me off about a lot of the keynote speaking circuit, right? Like I go into some of these places, bro, and I'm about to, bro, by this year, I'm putting it on camera. By this time next year, I'm gonna be the little baby of this shit. I'm telling you, bro. I'm gonna be everywhere. You're gonna see me in the Spies draft. I promise you, bro. Jade out, dripping, like, and just talking my shit, bro, because I'm tired of it. I don't see nobody look like us. And that was the problem I had early in our career, bro. There was I couldn't find a Cannon, Emmanuel, or Walt, bro. I might see one other brother in the conference. I can give him the head nod from like across the room, and we just like, yo, we here, family. You know Remember them days, bro? So like, so where did that come from too, bro? Because that Black Madison Ave project was so powerful, bro. And that's why I love telling the stories too, Ben, because I need people from, like I said, me and Walt from the X, bro. I need somebody out here. I go to the block right now. People are asking, yo, Jay, yo, I love your shit. Yo, let's do a podcast. Let's do this. I got ideas. And that's the shit that matters, bro. So what made you step out and really, all you guys, to really put your career on the line, bro, to speak about something that affects us as Black professionals, bro? That took a lot of courage. It took a lot to put your names out there, bro, especially when we talk about playing the game concept.
Yeah, for sure. No, I appreciate that first and foremost.
That was real, bro.
I think for me, you know, it's there's no point in getting subbed into the game if you're not going to shoot the shot, you know. And I think the moment came to be that you can be honest about the situation. You can use your platform or you could not, you know. And I'm always a person who's going to use my platform to a fault. And I realize the privilege that lies in that. You know what I'm saying? Like when I show up and dress like how I want, or I speak how I want, like that's a privilege, you know. And I had the privilege to be able to use my platform to just say what I wanted, and to be in a moment in my career where I could say, hey, either y'all gonna like what I say or you not. And if you like it, then you're gonna want more. And if you're not, you're gonna go that way. You know what I'm saying? Like that's one of the things. I went to college, like I was saying, at Amherst College, like out in Massachusetts, and I find Massachusetts and New England in general to be like one of the most racist places in America. Sure. But in many ways, like I'd rather be in the South where you just call me an N-word and I know you coming, rather than just be on some like, oh, what's up? I'm with the ethnic. Like, come on, okay.
Let's just filter out the BS, bro. Let's just filter. Right. Just the filter.
Let's just straight through it. You don't like Black people? That's cool, bro. Bet. Stay over there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'd rather just be honest on that. And so, you know,
facts.
For me, when Walt hit me and he was like, hey, we got an opportunity, you know what I'm saying? What should we do? Blah, blah, blah. And we started kind of brainstorming on the concept. It was like, yeah, okay, say less. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. And the fact that you could fit all 7 of us in a room, we never even met before. Like that's what's so crazy. Like you listen to that conversation and it sounds like some Sahas talking like, you know what I'm saying, that been met each other and known each other. And that's just not what it was. Like we had never met before, but just off the strength of having been through the same things and having a similar, you know, a somewhat similar background, we could always connect on so much.
Exactly.
And that's the testament of it. The testament of the moment is it still has relevance today. And also like people don't know, they think we all knew each other. Like I talked to Walt like twice on the phone, like on LinkedIn, like
exactly.
You know,
exactly. And it's imperative for y'all to have those conversations and have that relationship, bro. So it's like the content creator conversation they were saying, like Buttons was saying, like how Gilly needs to talk to him, he needs to talk to them. How do we know what's going on in those spaces, or how they treating you, so we could end up giving ourselves advantage in the game.
Right, context.
That's it, baby. That's it, bro. And last, bro, I didn't realize we on 50, bro, because bro, this was just a dope ass conversation, bro. We're having a good time, bro. So, like, man, you've done so much in your career, man. You're at a place where you're still ascending, bro. You're doing amazing things. What does the mountaintop look like for you, bro? And what is something that you're looking to do? Like when the game's over, bro. Like Mitch said, he said, "Well, they still love me." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What does that look like for you, bro? What does the mountaintop look like for you, and what do you want your legacy to be?
Well, the legacy is, you know, I always just say, don't ask me, ask someone else. You know what I mean? It'll be how I put on for other people and how many lives I could change along the way. Like I really believe, to the point that you made earlier, you know, creativity comes from a lack of resources, and Black people and Black women in particular are the most historically under-resourced. So therefore they're the most creative. So if you're making a creative environment, you know, like you said, it's not on us, it's in us. You know what I'm saying? So you know, I can put people on. I put people on to make $400,000. I put people on to make $200,000. Like this life-changing money, and early enough that they could make that for 10 years. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to look back from that. So I want to put on as many people as possible. Not everyone can be put on. Not everyone should be put on. You know what I'm saying? So that's the legacy side. You know what I'm saying? Like I think there is no mountaintop. I'm very fearful of that because you know, that's something I learned in my life from people very close to me. I think once you exhale, it's very hard to get back on the horse. And so I'm very weary of getting to a place where I feel like I've achieved what I need to get to, until it's time to, you know, if everything's set up and I ain't got to work again, then I could do that at that point. You know what I'm saying? But I'm far from that because my lifestyle is expensive. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not mad. That's real.
I just know myself. But what I will say is, you know, in terms of what I think the outcome could be, like there has to be a Black person who's in the conversation. And right now the conversation is Wine and Kennedy, and then that's it. And they've been making Black ads since the jump. You know, was it Spike Lee or Jim Riswold? No. You know who Jim Riswold is because you know the Cannes Lion archives, but everyone in the world only knows Spike Lee. And could you replace that with anyone else? But from an ad game perspective, from a financial perspective, you know, who got the bag? You know what I'm saying? So until we change the narrative within that conversation, and I'm not saying that's going to be me. I'm saying I believe I can teach the game enough that it's going to be within 3 degrees of separation. It's possible, whether it's me or another person, or, you know, a person I work with or a person that they work with or whatever, but we got to keep fighting until that's the answer.
That's a fact. And for those listening, Wyatt and Kennedy are the agency that does a lot of the Nike stuff, majority of Nike, all of Nike stuff. So that's
Nike.
Yeah, that's real, bro. And like, to give you, bro, before we go, bro, like my legacy is similar, bro. Like when I first started with the LinkedIn shit, I'm gonna keep it all the way real. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. I just wanted to sell shit and build relationships. I was just like, I'm tired of sending 1,000 effing emails. This shit is lame. There's got to be a better way to do this. I know they training me to do this shit, but it's got to be a better way. So let me just go left and see what happens. And then shit took off, bro. But as shit took off, I realized the story started to impact people. When I'm like, I was at Starbucks and I'm smelling like ribs and BBQs and I throw the hat on and shit like that. Like I get messages like every other day, bro. I started being myself in these spaces, bro. I hit quota twice this quarter, thank you, bro. Dude from Soundview. You know what I'm saying? People from where I'm from, bro. I know dudes that ain't neither block in 30 years. And they talking about opening a business, bro. That's real shit. And that's the shit that, like, even if it's not me, it's just that impact, bro. The money gonna come because I'm being genuine. A smart motherfucker. I know what to do, and I'm genuine. Like, even with our relationship, bro, I wouldn't even ask you. I would never ask you for nothing, bro. You came on the show and you giving me knowledge, bro. I'm learning. Free game, bro. And now I get to give it to the next person and the next person. And it's a cycle, bro. So I appreciate you for that, man. And that's how we really win, bro. I want the 21-year-old me to be like, yo, he not alone.
Exactly. And that's a support piece. You know what I'm saying? That's the biggest lie they told us that we were alone.
That's the biggest lie ever, bro. So, man, I just want to say, man, thank you again, bro, for joining, man. Like, I'm rooting for you, my brother. Sky's the limit. You know what I mean? And plus, let anybody know, bro, because we still got some viewers, bro. Anybody where they could support you, reach you at, they want to holler at you.
Yeah, I'm LinkedIn is always good. Instagram is good. Andre G Gray, Gray. You know what I'm saying? I'm Googleable, so you can find me. That's why I gotta keep it clean, because you can find me.
You gotta keep it. You never know, bro. Gotta keep brand safety, everybody. But yo, bro, Ski, man. Yo, happy holidays to you and the family, man. Much love, my brother. Hope it's a successful 2023. You know, everybody listening, thank you guys, because, like, yo, man, this was a crazy year, man. I got laid off like 3 months ago, and last week I'm talking to the founder of the Washington Nationals, bro, from the Bronx, in the crib, still in the trenches. You know what I'm saying, bro? So I just want anybody to know anything's possible, bro. Thank you for believing in me, showing love, bro. Thank you for all y'all for showing love, man. This is, you know, next year we're gonna turn it up, man. I'm just excited, excited for the growth, baby.
If you ain't looking over your shoulder yet.
That's it, man. I'm ready. Ready to do. I'm jumping off the porch. You know what I'm saying? Jumping off the porch. So excited, bro. Like, you know what I mean? I just can't wait, bro. I did some crazy, like, bro, do you even think about it? Like, just not even go off track, but like, bro, from LinkedIn, I've been able to interview you, Walt, the CEO of Revolt, the CEO of Rap Snacks, the founder of Washington Nationals, bro, like CEO of 16 Handles, like, yo, bro, random organic conversations, bro. And I be telling people the power of that shit if you just put yourself out there, bro. They wasn't gonna let me through the front door. I'm too real. Like, what he saying with the Corey Holcomb shit, like with Oprah? He's like, no, I'm too real for the Oprah show. Of course.
You know
what I'm saying? But like, that's what it's
steak for everybody. 100% steak for everybody. You know what I'm saying? So
that's
appreciate you. You know, appreciate you making this platform and allowing me to grace the stage, as it were. And anything I could do to help, I'm here for it. Whether that's you or whoever's listening. You know what I mean?
Thank you again, my bro, man. So happy holidays again to you, man. Much love, bro. Happy holidays to everybody at home. 2023, let's make this shit pop, y'all. Let's get it. But thanks for another episode and the last one of the season of More Than a Title, y'all. We out of here.
What you know about me? Seen it all, heard it all. Oh, what you know about me?